Morning, everyone. So, the currency of flow at present. I was about to say the current flow happening, but I was reminded in that moment that it truly is the currency between us all. And at what level is that currency? Because it's not of lower vibrational, like got to give something to get something. So, like, as it is in the world, we give of ourselves to get something, and that has become so solidified as the currency of life, right? But when you come up to the heart consciousness, the currency is not about what you get from what you give. It's about, it doesn't take away the fact for survival we use currency to have the foundations, just the foundations, right? But because of our whole selves is heart as well, and we're learning that we are spirit in physical form of spirit, we need to take care of ourselves at the upper currents as well. So the upper consciousness and how we use it. So the flow of currency that's happening from my heart space at present, from the upper to my heart space, the person I am. I know my soul to be living through this human in this lifetime. There's a little elaboration on what I meant by heart currency. Now let's fall into the current. And it's all a part of what's going on in the world that we're all a part of, that's coming into our lives through whomever in resource. So whatever your life entails at the moment, and whatever you're being reminded of that hits home at the chest and the gut and then rises back up again because it plays a part. Or you can hear someone talk and talk and talk, and none of it really hits home. Well, it won't hit home if you're not present, giving some attention to it, or if you're just not meant to hear, there's nothing in it for you, particularly. But anyway, what's hitting home for me? And I just want to mention that when something hits home, it's because you also allow the flexibility of your lower chakra consciousness to allow something in, to see if it sits for you, and if then there is something more for you to know of it, to expand it in your life, your field, your environment, your choices, whatever situations you find yourself in that day or ongoing. Because once you hear something, especially when it hits and sits with you, it's there for some kind of expansion, for you to use at some stage or to learn more about. So now getting to the point of the flow conversation. We take on too much in this 3D platform that is descending. So I'm helping the descent of that Right. Now, I mean, our airwaves full of old that we have been believing hold up our physical construct of existence, which is all, we're coming to the understanding that it's illusion, that we are all spirit, we're letting that fact in, and it's going to shift and change our environments as we know it. And our part in that is take notice of how you're holding on or letting go to the old. So, the old that I'm noticing to assist the real flow of availability, like there's an available flow, is changes the whole makeup of the 3D reality. So if we go around feeling into what's going on and think we must fit in everything, because some people have an inner belief that they have to fit everywhere they go. But what that blocks is your spontaneous flow. So there is not a committed to a certain fit and everything will be all right. So you have to let that go. Because committed to a certain fit in any environment means that you are trying to be the platform to help everyone grow. You're trying to make an environment or situation it's not really a personal thing is what I'm trying to get at. It's not like you want to fit to fit. You're not looking to actually be approved of and fit. You're looking as though you have to play a part to make everything else feel like they get to that point where they fit. But that's not our responsibility. And we have to detach from that. And that can move mountains. Women do this regularly, and feminine or sensitive nature that wants to help so much can over-involve their own energy field to the point that they don't know themselves. It's like a mother, and I'm thinking of mothers that have, you know, extended kind of families as well, like, you know, 2 or more children kind of thing, where they're just always inclusive of everybody and they want to help to make everything fit. They want, you know, it's nearly like they have extra senses that can pick up on if something's not feeling right over there. And then, you know, so they're trying to share who they are and then they have nothing left for themselves. And then they will feel depleted and look out to the world and wonder, where is it going to come from to soothe their soul? So there is a real, like a mountain, you know, like a mountain base you think could never move. There is a real breaking of earth open there and letting it fall. So you have to catch yourself when you have this ingrained chest responsibility that says, this is my role. Right? And the new earth, the new ground that's coming up to fill your soul is, I keep coming back to the drawbridge, is like you are a castle. Now think of any building, okay? It is not about the prestige or fanciness of the building, but of course you should love your building like it's heaven on earth. So call it what you like, but it always seems to come to me recently, especially, that when we are letting something like walls come down, or a mountain and down to the earth of us, because we solely believe we have to fix or fill to create a new space for everyone, right? But we wear ourselves out doing that. And we find ourselves stuck in that kind of mountain base that will never move. And so we're wondering why the upper feelings of ourselves, our heart, our life, and what we see is nothing new. Is because we're too busy trying to fix the base for everyone. So the next step is the catching of oneself, and also letting life come in to you. So there is some, in that breaking open, there is some letting go and detaching of other things, people, nature, because it's just the way it's got to be if you want to live. If you want to feel life coming, if you want to feel real life, and you still might be foggy as to what that is, because you're so busy trying to be this fixer-upper. It's because you need to let life come in, not as though you are the life fixer going forward. So you have to sort of lay down the tools, take off the workman's jacket or whatever. Just take everything, lay it down. I'm going to let life come in. It's like, say, when any of us can be called this, a workman, right? We're all workmen, man or woman. It's like when the worker in us says, okay, I've had enough. But it's something that this person has to do on a regular basis. Whoever feels like they have such a responsibility to others, they need to lay down their tools more often. They need to take that jacket off and put it to the side. And that's where the opening of the castle drawbridge came from, the breakdown of that earth. It's like, okay, now I have space for this drawbridge to open. And before I didn't, because I was too busy being the castle for everyone else. And the castle is your soul. So the drawbridge you're dropping down is to let life in, to know your soul. And so the real responsibility here that people feel in trying to do every upkeep for everyone else in their vicinity is that they really think they're going to find their meaning and purpose one day in helping that particular person to see straight. And so with the putting down of the tools and the resignation, right, which can sometimes happen because things start crumbling, so you just end up having to go, okay, what do you want me to do in all this mess? Like things get taken away from us, relationships or responsibilities. Is to keep walking forward, listening to further guidance, forward guidance. It's like, I got to get out of this in the clearing. And then once I get down the road a little bit on that dusty track and stand under the tree and look back, I might climb up that tree for a bit and sit wherever I'm at. And I might be highly surprised that it's all been taken care of. And that now my fixer-upper part becomes something like a higher seer part, where I am offering from my new position in life a lighter bridge up. Like my hand reaches down to them, not down in any demeaning manner, but when you feel like you had responsibility for so many, and then you walk away from it and you get a higher view of why you thought that, you now see that everyone plays their own part, and your part was in maintaining your part. And it's a very detaching, almost gut-wrenching release, but you never needed it. You just thought you did. It was all a part of the steps to the internal world opening up. And we can just cling to some of those steps because we convince ourselves, and there might have been some good points, like, oh, you really helped me. And yes, that's what we do. We help each other along the way. But it's when we get glazed over that there's nothing else. That is our role. It's concrete. But the signs of that is we feel depleted, and in our quiet moments wonder when life is going to really, I don't know, take off for us or something, like feel a gut fulfillment, because we've been so satisfied at everyone else's smiles looking at us, or their pleasing nature focused on something we did for them, and we can lose our identity in that, and that's fine. But it's the truth. We can lose our identity in it. So what we have to keep doing is peeling away who others think we are And that can be difficult for some because it's so cozy in the I'm pleasing everyone, you know, to the peeling away that, yeah, I can please people, but I still have to follow my guidance in case there's some other kind of, I don't know, pleasing nature, because life is pleasing. You know, it's a high vibrational spiritual soul path. Like, life is meant to be of a pleasing, consistent kind of nature, and that's why we know the contrast of not liking something into this pleases me. You know, too right, our hearts are meant to be attracted to pleasing nature, but not being surrounded by others, being pleased by us, and us not making space for our own growth. Which is now that tree that you sit in up the dusty path and look back once you have peeled away some things as to what is actually the new growth. Because there is new growth. We're never not growing, and that's the thing. We can just have life come into close and feel responsibility. And so much so that our psycho analysis of ourselves becomes so identified with how others feel. So if others, like anyone in our environments, we don't even think it. Our power, feminine or sensitive nature, can go straight to it with that fixer-upper. When that person, that soul, that child, that teenager, that adult, that elderly, doesn't matter what age, because everyone's progressing differently, and we're all students and teachers all the time, but changing positions of that, because we are also students too of someone who's lived a different life, who has something to share with us. So in that calling of I can fix something, you can also rearrange that to be, hang on a second, I'm going to be a student here. And when my student sits back, in my observation, I might have something to teach. But I'm not going to rush in, because that person is also a student and teacher as well, for themselves and for me. So in their worry, concern, confusion, anything that people feel at all, right? We don't have to rush in and save them. That's not our part, and we are actually giving away our energy instead of sitting back and becoming who we truly are. If we're doing that overdone, if we're doing that too much, like it's become our identity. And that's truly where that balance is in relationship zone, that we don't try and save each other, that everyone is on this journey of their roots of their tree strengthening through the veins of, you know, the body, the higher, the consciousness, wholeness of us. We are all opening to that light, feed, flow, intellect, intelligence, mishmash, growth, balance. But that's what it can feel like at times. So we've got to try not to, you know, psychoanalyze others, and instead, with the wisdom of our own growth and who we are. That's how we know who we are, by sitting back sometimes and being the student of life. And we watch and we know that someone could be going through something, but it's not about us just going, I'm going to put myself out there in the energy field because I could see that can happen. Instead, there are times to do that, but there are times for you to be a guide for someone, for sure. You'll feel it and you'll know it. It will be like in a percentage realm kind of way. You'll feel more grounded to do that. Or you'll feel, not so much, 20-30%. I could say something right now, but I'll leave it up to their energy field to discover whatever it is they're discovering. And I'll take the 70% observation in my own life's wisdom, still open as a student, but observing with the wisdom of life, to watch that person grow themselves. And in that, allowing that space for their step, then there might be an opening for that higher communication between you both. And that's when they're going to teach you something as well. You see, so it's always more open. And we truly, and this is for our new grounding, because imagine, and we've all seen it, what people look like in their physical form when they are trying so much to be that part for everybody. They can be tense, they can be holding stuff in, they can be like lovely and smiling appearance on the outside, but they can also be frustrated and just getting by as well. So that's stopping what you're doing and letting life in for you, to take away that very responsible individual that has the part and the fixer-upper for everything. So we really need to notice in ourselves, out of 100%, how much we are stuck in being that, and how much we're actually letting in for ourselves. Because I'm pretty sure the balance of that is like 75% to maybe 20-25 in the silence of letting something come in for us. Normally when we make time and say, at the end of the day, I'm going to do this. Or at the end of the week on a Saturday afternoon, I might have a couple of hours to myself. Okay, we really don't realize how much we do play a consistent part in holding things up. See, the only discrepancy with this is it should be more at least like 50-50, because then you're actually allowing space for change. That's the only thing. The mind can really get stuck in playing a part, and the foundations for change are really not much at all. So this is the health of your physical form, and whether life comes in to be what it's meant to be for you, because life is always trying to guide you or lead you to be what we don't even recognize yet as the better versions of ourselves that are waiting. Because we're too busy trying to hold up the emotional, mental platform that's been built. And I looked at the clock at 29:29. Equating to 11:11. Sounds good to stop there. Hope that helped everyone. Bye for now.